Despite just a few days ago, a major faction within the Democrat Party and much of the liberal media had serious doubts as to whether or not Camel-Faced Harris would be able to lead the party. Now they've gone all in, and they're gaslighting the American people that she is the new Captain America. In reality, however, the new puppet is a little more difficult to sell.
So now that the process is played out, from the grassroots bottom up, we are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm clapping. You don't have to.
As you can see, the manufactured hype from the media surrounding Kamala is taking a little bit of time to kick in.
And become the next president of the United States of America. Applause. Hakeem.
If you didn't catch that, he commanded the audience to applaud.
Please clap.
So this is who they've gone all in on.
We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
The point is, under you and old Joe's administration, our country has been invaded by an army of at least 8 million illegals through the southern border, and it was supposed to be your job to go take a look and stop that. Instead, the Biden-Harris administration not only welcomed the invaders, but then offered them free health care and countless other welfare benefits once they arrived.
The bill also says, quote, every individual who is a resident of the United States is entitled to benefits for health care services under this act. Not every individual who's a citizen, but every individual who's a resident. So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all, to people who are in this country illegally?
Let me just be very clear about this. I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health, period.
Of course, in a sane society, which sadly we are obviously not, if an illegal alien showed up to a hospital desperately in need of some health care or some treatment, of course, they would be cared for. And then they would be arrested. And they would be fined in order to pay for that treatment. And then fined even more to pay for the costs of their deportation. We certainly wouldn't allow them or their anchor babies to be enrolled in our public schools or to get on the welfare dole. And the Democrats, the media, are thrilled that a supposed black woman is going to be the head of the Democrat Party. But this is definitely not a black woman. That is Kamala Harris in her Indian garb, complete with a dot on her forehead when she was growing up. But the Democrats desperately need the black vote, and so they're marketing her as a black woman, when in reality she is an Indian. And get a load of this gem from the New York Times less than 2 weeks ago. For years, far-right commentators have floated a conspiracy theory that Democratic Party elites were secretly plotting to replace President Biden on the ticket. Well, what do you know? Another conspiracy theory that turned out to be true. And since Kamala Harris was obviously picked as old Joe's running mate as an affirmative action hire, hoping to get the black vote because she did such a horrible job on the 2020 presidential campaign that she didn't even make it to the first primary before she dropped out. So now they're getting very upset when you just point out the fact that she is a DEI hire.
Biden said, first off, he said he's going to hire a black female for vice president, and that he just skipped over. What about white females? What about any other group? When you go down that route, you take mediocrity, and that's what they have right now as a vice president.
So are you suggesting she was a DEI hire?
100%. She was a DEI hire.
That's a Republican member of Congress, Tim Burchett from Tennessee, by the way, now moving the Overton window and admitting the obvious, which, of course, has the Cloud News Network even more furious.
It's the most offensive thing that I have heard someone say. She is the Vice President of the United States. She is the most qualified person to be our nominee. She will beat Donald Trump.
Does anyone even know what DEI is? If that's all they've got, well, we're going to win in November.
I don't think we need to even say stuff like that. Don't think so. Look, Kamala.
Yeah, that's Byron Donalds, black Republican member of Congress, and you can see that even he is offended Meanwhile, Democrat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is blaming a lack of DEI, or rather a lack of DEI training for the near assassination of President Trump.
And I want to talk about training, and I want to talk about the fact that there's been a little bit of dancing around as it relates to this being a suspicious person and this being a situation that was perceived to be a threat. And it seems as if there's a different analysis that takes place. One of my questions has to do with if you have any bias training that your officers undergo. And the reason that I ask that, because as a civil rights lawyer, I have learned so many times in having to deal with law enforcement that there usually is not a perception of a threat when it is a young white male, even if they are
even if they have a gun and they're on a roof overlooking a speech by a former president of the United States. That's how the Democrat mind works. They didn't act because the shooter was white. But if he was black, they surely would have stopped him because they would have acted too aggressively. And aside from the Secret Service nearly allowing President Trump to get assassinated, likely part of the plan from the higher-ups, now they're telling him that he better just end those massive outdoor rallies altogether.
And just breaking moments ago, Brett, I want to tell you that the Secret Service is apparently now telling or asking the Trump campaign to stop doing their rallies outdoors. This is reporting from the Washington Post, just breaking in the last couple of minutes here. I can tell you that I asked Don Jr. about that at the RNC last week, if he was going to encourage his father to stop holding rallies outdoors. He said that his father would not like that at all. He loves those outdoor rallies. So we're still trying to work this story right now, but that's coming from the Washington Post. The Secret Service is now encouraging the Trump campaign to stop doing those outdoor rallies.
Maybe the rallies should continue, but Secret Service should stop giving a blind eye to the countless and growing number of red flags that obviously don't add up. And in case you missed it, I did release the greatest shirt of all time, the Fight for Trump shirt, which you should order from my online store, markdice.com, or click the link in the description below. And through Thursday, you can save 20% off of any of my shirts by using the promo code HEATWAVE20 at the checkout. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.